Welcome back. You're watching a very special episode of Brand Equity called Vote India, a special initiative by ET Now, and I'm Sonali Krishna. And now we've entered the most exciting part of the show. As promised, I have with me today a very high-profile panel that will scrutinize these three campaigns and come to a consensus on which campaign is the most effective and going to get India going and get them to cast their vote. The panel really needs no introduction at all. I'm joined by Akshay Rao, Director General, Election Commission of India from Delhi, Milind Deora, Union Minister of State for IT and Communications in Bombay, Anupam Kher, a renowned actor whose wife Kiran Kher is a BJP candidate from his residence in Mumbai, Amitabh Kant, Secretary, Industries, Government of India and architect of Incredible India and God's Own Country's campaigns from the Delhi studio, and Piyush Pandey, the advertising veteran who is the Executive Chairman and National Creative Director for Ogilvy and Mather India, right here in our Bombay studio. At the outset, let me first take the opportunity and thank each one of you for taking time out and joining us right here on Brand Equity. Our esteemed panel has seen all the three campaigns, and now it's time for them to put their judging hats on and really delve deep and scrutinize the three campaigns. As explained earlier, these campaigns are targeted at India at large and really is an effort to get citizens to go out there and cast their vote. With that, I'd like to first come to you, Mr. Kher. Mr. Kher, what are your first sense of these campaigns? What do you think of the ads created by Publicis first, since Publicis was the first ad that we've all seen?
I thought the first one where a group of journalists are asking and we do not know who they are asking and blaming him for lots of things. I am curious to know who are they asking. I think either they are, in my mind, I think that there will be a Neta or there will be a police commissioner, something like that. But it turns out to be a common man on a scooter with his son with a helmet, which somehow gives me a sense of responsible person. And the very significant thing is that the child moves his hand away from the elbow of the father, and that makes me think that yes, I think it's important for a common man to vote.
Well, thank you for those pertinent thoughts, Mr. Kher. I'd like to come to you, Milind. You've seen the three campaigns, and give me your first thoughts and views on the first campaign, the Publicis campaign.
Voting is important, but voting smartly is very important. And when I say that, I mean very few people even understand how our system works. Very few people understand what the difference between an MP, an MLA and a municipal councillor or a local representative is. And as a result, very few people understand who I should vote for the issues that are important to me. And in that context, I thought the first campaign was powerful, but I thought it kind of had the narrative that we see in media today, which is more about anger. And I think anger is good. Anger should provoke people to vote. It should increase turnouts. But anger is also dangerous because it clouds your head.
Mr. Rao, I'd like to come to you. You've seen the three campaigns, and, you know, as the Director General of the Election Commission of India, give me your first thoughts on the Publicis campaign. That's the first campaign you saw.
I'm grateful to ET Now and to all the creative colleagues, media, that you have joined in this effort, and because you have more strength, more power of imagination than perhaps we sitting at the Election Commission of India. I'll just go to the first one. The central idea is good, and there need not be that much of aggression. The end part is very good in the sense showing the helplessness of the man who doesn't know that he's a non-voter. And because he's a non-voter, he's accountable in terms of whatever is happening.
Mr. Kant, if you can hear me clearly, what's your view on the Publicis campaign, the first campaign that you saw?
It's important that when people vote, they must do good research, they must know what the issues are, they must do their homework. And to that extent, I personally thought that the Publicis campaign brings the issue right in front. It makes the voter as the change agent.
Fair enough. Thank you so much. Let me now come to the insider, the advertising man, Piyush Pandey.
I quite like it. I like it because of its simplicity. I like it because it addresses everyone across the country. It has a little bit of sense of surprise. And the objective of this campaign, as explained to me, is to get people to go and vote. So I find it to the point, very, very, very impactful, and I like it. I like it very much, without doubt.
Without doubt. Let's move on to the second campaign, which is Leo Burnett's campaign. And Mr. Kher, if I could get you in, wanted to get your views on Leo Burnett's campaign, which was, a lot different in tone compared to that of Publicis.
I thought that was, you see, I thought that representing of various or a parody of various candidates of very different political parties is fine, but my mind will go more to the humor part of it than for the audience to sort of actually cast their vote for it, because humor can entertain you for a certain time, but it does not actually make you think, especially in this case. Over here, I think it's important to tell a person directly that I want you to vote.
Fair enough. Milind, did that parody of the politicians really work for you?
I think it did, and I'll tell you why. Not only did I like it personally, because I think it's good to make things entertainment, but I think it's a mass-based campaign. Ultimately, if you're reaching out to Indian voters, every voter isn't informed about the political process.
Sure.
Every voter isn't someone who's politically aware. I think sometimes parody helps to draw them in. And that's why I personally liked it. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it put the entire political class up against the voter. The first one was a bit of the media narrative being translated, but this was more of all politicians are in one category and you, the voter, in the other category, who can determine who comes out. And it was mass-based, which for me was very appealing.
Mr. Raut, do you think, what they've tried to do is do a caricature of politicians, and is caricaturing something that, you endorse? Is that something that works for the Election Commission? Is humor a good way to drive home the point?
Humor works greatly. I think humor is such a universal emotion, and particularly among Indians, I think it works a lot. For example, we have a very simple one. This round face where one mouth is upside down and one is, we say, ye vote dete hain, ye khali rote hain.
Mr. Raut, that's a very simplistic way of looking at humor, but I'm really talking about the, the ad, and in context of the ad, which is, caricaturing of politicians and a use of a lot of parody. Your views and analysis on that, and if it works for the Election Commission of India.
No, caricaturing without even the remotest chance of an identification. That is becoming a problem. We are getting into some amount of caricaturing, not a brutal caricaturing, some amount of caricaturing, a humor which is normally acceptable. Because kindly understand that we are accountable as well. Let
me come to you next on what you thought of the Leo Burnett campaign.
Either it happens to me or it doesn't happen to me. And to me, this one didn't happen. Like Anupam, I also believe that you can afford to be frivolous, you can afford to be humorous, you can afford to be emotional in any which way, as long as you clinch it. And I didn't see where they clinched it. Okay. I agree with Milind that there is an attempt to make it popular, which is nice, always. But if you haven't clinched it, then you have missed the point.
Amitabh, you obviously heard, the commentary of all the three gentlemen here in Bombay. Does this humor work for you?
I thought it was a very poor quality ad. It didn't inspire me. It didn't motivate me. It didn't hit me hard enough. After seeing this ad, I won't go in for voting. Definitely not.
Okay. So you've clearly rubbished it. Moving on, McCann has given us a series of ads, like all of you all have seen, and I wanted to focus on the first theme. Mr. Raut, if I could specifically ask you about the first two ads, which are one theme in the McCann series, which are really vote because she will. That's the slogan they're going with.
It looks very frivolous, and we want our message to be serious. They may look sometimes a little dry, may not look very dramatic. But we want these days, I'll tell you, if our advertising campaign friends are joining us, we are trying to position voting as a matter of right. I think that's most important, and as a matter of pride. And of course, as a matter of traditional, as a matter of duty as well. But the first two are very important.
These ads, what are we saying? Are we saying that we look at dimples of politicians, we look at the good looks? The young Indians are far brighter, they're far smarter. They're going to look into the quality of politicians before they vote. And therefore, the message just doesn't come out loud and clear in these ads.
Do you think it's possible to have a reaction like you saw with the first commercial, first of the two-part commercial?
I'll tell you how I'm judging these campaigns. I'm looking at it in terms of how do you reach out to the maximum number of people?
Right.
How do you get the maximum number of footfalls?
Right.
And I thought the first and third ad in that sense, the first was more hard-hitting than the third, but I thought the first and third ad were very niche in that sense. Why I like the second, and I come back to that, is because it's mass-based.
Let's get you in, Mr. Kher. Give us, your view on the first theme of the McCann campaign.
Well, I think the lady kept talking about the cuteness of a national leader, and I don't think that she was concentrating on actually wanting to vote. She was gaga over people who find people cute. My perception is, I may be wrong, that they actually don't vote. So in the end, I was a little surprised when it said she's going to vote, will you? Because I did not think that she was going to vote.
Your views on that, Piyush?
But these three gentlemen have said exactly what I wanted to say.
Okay.
That I don't think there's much thinking that's gone into the insides of people as to what happens. They were trying to crack a joke which even Anupam didn't get it, which is to say that if such stupid people will vote, your vote has to counter those votes. But if smart and educated people who know theatre, drama, cinema couldn't get that thing, how do you expect the masses to get it?
Fair enough.
So there is a line that we have to draw between advertising that is done for advertising people and advertising that we do for the real people.
So if I had to ask you to pick the one that you thought was bang on, it would be Leo Burnett's, the second campaign?
Yes, I thought Leo Burnett's was the best to me because it was entertaining. So in that sense, it's mass-based. And secondly, it caricatured all politicians, all political parties.
Sure.
It was neutral in that sense. And it kind of put all politicians against the voter.
Amitabh, if I can bring you in, you've heard Milind tell me which one you think was the most effective of the three agencies.
I thought out of all the campaigns, the Publicis campaign was by far the best because it really positions the voter as the change agent. I mean, it says that this voter is going to determine the destiny of India. It gives him the responsibility to change India.
Right. Piyush?
Without doubt, I agree with Amitabh. For me, the first one, the one with Mr. Kamath, is the most powerful one, is the easiest to understand. It has got a sense of surprise that an ad must have so that to keep you engaged with it. Who are these people talking to? Who's this Mr. Kamath? And then you realize Mr. Kamath is just another voter like you and me.
Mr. Kher, broadly from what you've been saying, your verdict seems to be quite clear. It's Publicis' ad that, seems to have struck a chord with you. Would I be right to assume that?
Yes, my vote will go to that. That's the best ad.
So, Mr. Raut, clearly, you seem to be leaning towards the Publicis campaign. So, I'm assuming that that's the campaign you think we should be tagging as the winner.
Yes. I think because the central idea that a non-voter stands as an accused and he has to explain why he didn't vote. And I think that idea is very dramatic and very correct. With some amount of modification, perhaps the first one the Publicis one is something which can work.
And with that, we come to the end of the jury deliberation round. This has indeed been an extremely invigorating discussion. Well, many congratulations to Bobby Pawar, Partha Sinha and the entire Publicis team that worked on this particular campaign. Many congratulations, Bobby. How does it feel?
It's great to win. I mean, kudos to the team. I think they didn't just try to do an ad, they tried to find a solution, right? And we're really glad the jury recognized it. And we're also thankful to ET Now and Brand Equity for letting us participate in such a cool exercise.
We also had a Viewer's Choice Award. We put up all our campaigns up on Facebook and opened it for public voting. And this is how the numbers stacked up. With over 36,000 views, our Viewer's Choice Award goes to none other than Publicis. But as you can see, Publicis and Leo Burnett were neck to neck, with Publicis garnering 50.5% of the votes cast, as opposed to Leo Burnett, which followed with 46.5%. McCann clocked the remaining 3%. Many congratulations to all the winners, and I'd now like to take the opportunity to thank each one of you for taking time out and joining me for this special brand equity initiative. I'd also like to thank all the participating agencies, that's Publicis, Leo Burnett and McCann, for taking time out of your busy schedules and creating campaigns specially for this initiative. I truly hope you enjoyed watching Vote India as much as we enjoyed working through it. I'm afraid that's all we have time for today, urging all our viewers to go out there and vote. On that note, thanks for watching.